I guess I got everybody in there. All right, well, let's rock and roll. Good morning, everybody. Excuse me. My name is Keith Flynn. I'm Director of Digital Marketing here at West USA Realty. Thank you for joining us this morning. Really excited to have you guys on. We switched up the format a little bit. We usually, every week, I would be doing a social media webinar, whether it's Canva, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. But, we had a epiphany and decided, you know what, let's just stop always having me talk and let's get some people on who are actually doing it in the real world. Who are experiencing and using social media, not just me telling you, but actually doing it and doing it successfully, having some great results. And so we started off last month with our managing broker, Dean, who we talked about guidance and guiding you guys through some of the restrictions that come with being on social media, and whether it's code of ethics or standards, there's just a lot to it. And so this month for April, really excited to have an actual agent who has been recognized for their social media content. And I know that we're going to do a quick Q&A for you guys. Keep it short. I believe Karrina has to get off to some real estate regarded needs. And so obviously we'll be respectful of that. But first and foremost, before we get rocking and rolling, we always like to say thank you to our sponsors. We have two great sponsors. A number of sponsors here at West USA Realty, but first and foremost, Fairway Mortgage. Justin, Frederick over at the Fairway Mortgage team is awesome. Full disclosure, did my refi through them last year, and their team is fantastic. On top of it, he was going through a newborn, so even late nights I'm hitting him up, and he was still responsive. So if you guys have any questions at all, they're a great resource for you when it comes to loans. Hit Justin up, and I know they can help you guys out. And then also want to say thank you to American Title Agency, one of our title agencies that works with us. And obviously they provide a lot of resources for you guys, not only in the way of obviously, what comes with being and working with title, but they also help out with a lot of content ideas, social media creations as well. Of course, all of our vendors allow cross-marketing, branding, promotional items for you guys to help you. If you're stumped, you don't know what to do or how to do it, co-brand with them. They've got some great templates for you guys. And when it comes to social media, they can put a lot of great content out there for you. And they're always there to support you. So we want to say thank you to them and obviously joining us today. So, okay, I'm excited to have Karrina Rada with us. She's one of our West USA agents here. And she has been recognized most recently by, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard of or seen, but Property Spark. It's actually, they're a web-based company here in Arizona, but they've recognized Karrina recently for being a top 20 agent in the Scottsdale area who's basically utilizing social media to its full potential. And, they searched hundreds and not probably thousands of social media accounts and were identified 20 people who were obviously the most, putting up the great content, engaging, just using social media to its full potential. And so Karrina, welcome. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Oh, thank you for having me. I feel honored to be here.
Karrina popped onto my radar. I've got a number, and if you guys have been listening to us or me preach about social media, if you haven't Googled yourself, go do that. Google your name variations, Google your name with West USA Realty or whatever brokerage you're with. And once you do, set up a search alert so that whenever someone goes onto the internet and posts your name, whether it's a review, in a blog entry, whatever the case may be, you're going to index and you'll show up. I have a lot of search agents set up for West USA Realty, and one popped up and I was like, oh, what's this? And lo and behold, there was Karrina, recognized by Property Spark. And so that's when I reached out and was like, that is going to be my first agent guest on the show. So Karrina, congratulations.
You. Thank you so much. I was shocked. I'm pretty sure Nick was the one that reached out to me to let me know that I was even recognized. I was like, what? That's so crazy.
Yeah, it popped up. I read the article, and then sure enough, Karrina was number 6 on the list. So I sent it over to Nick, and it's just being aware of what's out there on the internet. That's how easy it can happen. So really cool to read that, Karrina. And I know that and as you mentioned, we were the first ones to let you know that, right?
You were. I know. I'm like, how bad is that? I didn't
we'll have to reach out to somebody over at Property Spark and tell their marketing department to get on top of it, right? So,
I know.
So with our limited time this morning, Karrina, I just wanted to jump into finding out a little bit more about you, about what your background. Tell us a little bit about, before we get into the questions. Tell us a little bit about um, who you are, how you got into real estate, and how long you've been doing it.
Yeah, so I moved down to Phoenix. I'm actually from Northern Arizona. I'm from a small town called Williams, if anybody's heard from it of it.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and so I'm from that small town and I moved down to Phoenix to go to college. I went to Grand Canyon University. I got a degree in marketing, which is kind of funny that it comes full circle now that I'm sitting here talking about social media marketing, basically.
Right.
But quickly after graduating, I realized that 9 to 5 corporate lifestyle wasn't what I was wanting. It took me about a year of going in between marketing jobs to realize, this isn't the life I want. I don't want that corporate life. I wanted to be more of my own boss. And so I decided to go for my real estate license. So that was, man, I might be going on 5 years now that I got
Okay.
my license. So when I got into real estate, I really loved it. And it just still wasn't that creative side that I was needing. And that's about a year into real estate. That's when I got into flipping houses and doing home renovations for clients. And now this year, I'm actually going to have 3 new build spec homes in the Scottsdale and Arcadia area.
Okay.
So now I basically kind of do all things real estate, but I still focus on being a realtor and taking clients as well.
Nice. Now, when you when you joined West USA Realty, were there any resources that you were able to, like, that we have here at the brokerage, that helped you out with getting going, and what does it mean to be an agent, that you found beneficial?
So when I actually started with Keller Williams,
Okay.
and they had a lot of seminars and education. I do think that they gave me a lot of training.
Okay.
I decided to move over to West USA because my cousin was actually with West USA and she was one of the trainers. And I realized I needed more one on one training. So I moved to West USA mostly to get that training from her.
Got it.
And then I liked the company. I loved that I could call the broker hotline. And I love all of the brokers. I just had to call Susan yesterday over this really weird form an agent sent me. And honestly, the broker support is what I'll never probably leave West USA because of the broker support.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a, since I've been in, well, the 6 years now, March for me, and it seems like every year, we added a broker on, and we've got a powerhouse of brokers, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So nobody's questions ever go unanswered, which is fantastic, and
No.
so it's great to hear that you recognize that for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you are decided to, let's say, like, hey, I'm gonna get into social media, I really need to start hammering this. What platforms have you found to be the most beneficial for you?
So when I got into real estate, Instagram was still newer
Hmm.
and it was still just only posting, and my generation was really into that. We kind of started leaving Facebook and going into Instagram and these other platforms. And so even before real estate, I was already playing around with Instagram. And I quickly realized when being in real estate, people want to see what you're doing. And the best way to do that is photos. And
Right.
so Instagram was naturally the platform that just seemed the easiest to get into. And now that they have so many other features,
Hmm.
Instagram is mostly the platform that I focus on.
Right.
And what's nice is now that Facebook owns Instagram, is they're connected. So like you can just only focus on posting on Instagram and with an easy click of a button, post it to Facebook as well. And so it kind of takes all of that extra time of posting on all these platforms away.
Hmm.
The other ones like Pinterest, I'm just now starting to realize that there can be some more to gain from it. I always just used it as finding photos for inspiration, but now I'm realizing if you create boards and content, you can get a lot more engagement and followers from that. But I'm still kind of just now just now playing with that. Instagram is definitely the one that I focus on.
Right. Right. Yeah, there has been a significant uptick in Instagram. And I know, as you mentioned, you're right with the photography, the high res images that people want to see when it comes to Instagram. that and real estate are just a natural fit,
Yes.
and I've seen a significant uptick in that. Pinterest, great recommendation as well. Coincidentally enough, just the other day, I decided to do like kind of like a quick. They had an early release of their stories because everyone's doing
Oh,
stories now, right?
right. Yep.
So I have early access. I don't know if I'm special or something, but I looked in the upper left hand corner and it was like early access. So I did a
Interesting.
quick little 6 or 7 story slide of what I was cooking for dinner. I'm a foodie, and I've had over 11,000 impressions.
Really?
Yeah, like 69 favorites are saved, 144 clicks on the recipe because I put the ingredients and everything in there,
Right.
and I was shocked. So I'm like thinking now, hey, I might pivot, start focusing on the Pinterest and
Mhm.
combine that with Instagram. I
Yeah.
have seen a very noisy. Do you find that Facebook's been pretty noisy lately?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes, I Facebook, all I really do is hit that button to tell Instagram to post to Facebook.
got it.
I don't even go there. I do have notifications set up if someone comments on a post because I like to engage with my followers. I think that's
Sure.
really important. So I don't want them to go unheard on there, but I agree it's very noisy and I get lost in on Facebook. They have way too much now
Mhm.
and it's just there's just too much going on there, but you still have to post because people, especially like a little bit older demographic, they're still on Facebook. So you don't want to ignore it.
Right. Yeah, and you're right because the two are Facebook does own Instagram. There is a convenience factor there. So you find that initiating your original content creations through Instagram and you're just hitting that share button, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that one for sure. That's why and it's funny too because we nobody ever seems to say that's what I'm going to do moving forward, but you find yourself doing that because it's the user friendliness
Mhm.
and your engagement level as well. Um,
Right.
so when it comes to content creation, do you how do you go about your content? Do you use a editorial calendar, or are you like me sometimes where I wake up and I'm like, I haven't posted in a couple days. I probably should do something.
A little bit of both,
Right.
honestly. I do try to time block out, especially if I know I'm gonna have a busy week or a couple of weeks. I try to time block at like a Sunday afternoon or Monday morning when I have a little bit of downtime and try to come up with that week's or 2 weeks content. So it takes a little bit of stress of being like, oh my gosh, it's been 5 days I haven't posted.
Right.
And, because kind of going silence like that for a while too, you kind of, I feel like, lose that interest and that engagement that you're working so hard to build. So for me, I use this app called Planoli. And what it does is you can go on and it has like the grid format that Instagram has, and it uploads your Instagram, like it's interactive with it. And you can go on and make scheduled posts. So you can set up what day you want them to post, what time you want them to post, but you do have to obviously create the content. You have to upload the photo, do the caption. And then what I love about it is I realized quickly that I need to have a theme and a vibe of my social media. So what I like about this app mostly is I can see how all of my photos look together. So when
Okay.
somebody
Yeah.
clicks on yeah, so when somebody clicks on my profile, I want like a uniform look. I want there to be a vibe of my social media that I'm trying to go for. And so Plan only helps me be like, "Ooh, no, that photo doesn't look good to my like compared to my last photo." So I like sometimes switch it up just because for me in particular, I want like a uniform looking social media. So
Right, and that is a big play. The aesthetics, the visual content, and I
mhm.
obviously following you now and seeing your social media posts. When you're on your grid, you've got a nice style to it. So whether you're using consistency in a filter or a color palette, um,
Right.
Planoly allows you to create all that before pushing live. Correct?
So not necessarily create it, but
Okay.
I mean, yes, in a way, I guess you're creating that vibe, but you still have to edit the photo. You still have to.
Sure. Sure.
There's still a lot of work behind it, but Plan only helps if you just time block that one, like a couple hours a day. You can just do all of your like posts for that week,
Okay.
and it eliminates the stress of like the rest of the week being like, oh, I need to post. And then that way you're in the moment too when you're like creating all your content on like Planoly. you're in the groove of like captions, because that's the thing I struggle with the most is the captions. Like what am I talking about? What do I want them to know? What am I
Right.
saying? And so when you're in the vibe of posting, next thing you know, those 5 days that you're posting on are easy. It's easy, and they flow and they make sense, and it comes across as a lot more professional.
So you find a lot of benefit for batch content creation, right? Like if you're going to sit down and get yourself in that mind frame, don't just
Mhm.
one off. Sit down, knock out a few. You know,
Knock out a few.
set yourself up. What I want to do on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. What I want to do on
Mhm.
Saturday. And like I tell a lot of our agents when we're in classes, um, batch create your content. So, if you're going to do videos, I have agents who bring in a couple blouses or bring in a couple, polos, and they'll switch out so they don't give the
Right.
appearance that it's the same video or you don't wash your clothes.
Right.
Um, but you give that appearance that you're creating a lot of content, and then you can just set things in motion and go do
Mhm.
life, go do agent, and then that
Right.
way your social media has activity, and then you just chime back in for engagement.
Absolutely, because all agents are going to fall victim to when we have our clients. We're all about our clients, right? We don't have time sometimes. If it's during the inspection period, I don't even look at sometimes my social media. Like I'm
Yeah,
so involved in what's going on, which is our job, right? That's what we should be doing. Social media should come second to our clients.
right.
But you also, they talk about the real estate roller coaster, right? You can't stop lead generating too. So they are both obviously important. So I think scheduling, if you know it's going to be a busy week, just do that time block to schedule your post. And I think, you'll feel a lot less stress about social media.
You're right. That's absolutely correct. Yeah, because if you sit down and you get yourself that mind frame and you cancel out all the noise, knock out a few, set yourself up.
Mhm.
So obviously Instagram, big use for millennials, young and old. Millennials are using Instagram to learn a lot about new service and products, and so and Instagram is statistically shown to be more affluent, higher education, higher income. So that's our ideal. That's our ideal client. That's who we want to
Right.
target. Um, do you find your most engagement through Instagram over any other platform? Are people, commenting and DMing you and going that about that route?
Um, I mean, Facebook a little bit still. I still do get a little bit of my engagement from there, but with Instagram, it's not just about the posts. So where I actually get, I feel like a lot of engagement is when I'm doing stories, now the reels, the IGTV videos, and now there's these thing called guides that I just kind of saw last week, and
Yep.
I did two, and I already have a good amount of engagement from them. I don't even know what they are, but I'm like, "Hey, I'll go for it."
Right.
And I'm already getting some like engagement from them. So, yeah, Instagram is just they're making it very easy for us to connect with people and be and the stories I feel like are the best way of talking to your followers because they have all those stickers that you can ask questions, do polls, all that fun stuff where you are asking your followers to engage with you. And I noticed that when I started doing a lot more of those, things started feeling a lot like I felt like my followers were like there. You know what I
Right.
mean? Whereas before I'd post a post and sometimes I'd get a lot of likes, sometimes I'd get comments, sometimes I wouldn't. And I'd be like, what's going on? But when I do the stories, that's when people really engage.
Absolutely. Yeah, the stickers and what Karina is referring to, if you guys haven't seen them, if you're doing Instagram stories, the stickers are there for you guys to really help engagement. Whether you're doing a poll or ask me anything question,
Mhm.
they're designed to get your audience to not just be thumb scrollers and go on to the next content. They're there for you guys to engage, ask questions. But do you like door number one, door number two, or curb appeal number one, curb appeal number two? And when your when your client or your audience engages with you, it's going to game the algorithm on Instagram and let them know that like your content's worth engaging with. The next time you post, they're going to organically push your content out more. So take advantage of those stickers. They are going to jazz up your, for lack of a technical term, they're going to jazz up your content a lot, and they're also going to get people to engage with you, and they're going to build a relationship. At the end of the day, being an agent is all about building relationships, and I think that's definitely one aspect to Instagram that I don't see a lot of agents doing, and I know that it will benefit you when you start really diving in and taking advantage of that tool. For sure. And yeah, you're right. Instagram just keeps adding stuff. The guides, um, I'm going to do a class on the guides down the road here, but the guides really are a way to for Instagram to elicit reviews on places you've been, seen, things you've done. And as an agent who's out and about and who's the neighborhood expert, the mayor, um, if your guys are creating guides and you're giving your feedback, just another awesome way for you to get exposure as an agent. So yeah, so I know that's a new one, and we all have to go down that rabbit hole soon. So
Yeah, I'm in the thick of going down that rabbit hole, so I'll let you know
right.
how it goes.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like it's always changing. So if you see
Yeah.
something new, dip your toes in the water, like I did for the Pinterest stories. And I'll be honest with you, that's probably the most engagement I've ever had. So I was like,
Yeah.
whoa. Guess
After hearing that, I'm like, I think I'm gonna go on Pinterest and figure out what's going on.
right. And so for me, it was cooking, but for you guys, maybe it's a neighborhood tour, maybe it's walking around, a new mom and pop restaurant that opened up, and you're the first one to, give the 411 on what's coming new in the neighborhood. So,
Yeah.
all right, next question. How do you, or who do you follow? Any books you read? Or is there any other social media influencers, agents, people that inspire you when it comes time to create content?
I wish I had like some more like answers for this question.
No
I
big.
think for me, how I get a lot of my inspiration now is just by scrolling on the explore page of Instagram. And when something catches my eye, I click on it and I'm like, why did that catch my eye? And then I've started to see what it is I like. And that's how I've started to create the vibe of what I want people to, what's going to spark their attention.
Right.
And what I've really come to is just like the professional photos. Obviously, because Instagram's all about photos, they won't see your caption. The first thing they're going to see is that photo.
Mhm.
So, once I started seeing that, what I was really drawn to were these really beautiful, fresh, like looks like they're fresh out of a magazine, photos of houses and, of yourself, all of that. And that's kind of where I started to see what my inspiration was and how I started to create it. So just in Pinterest too. So just exploring these platforms that I'm using, figuring out like, and sometimes I don't even really see who the person is necessarily, but I'm just kind of looking at the vibe and like the color of the photo, all of that. So that's kind of how I start to get like my inspiration. And now that I have my vibe and I
Mhm.
have that, now it's a little just easier for me because now I'm just trying to stay within my own realm of
Yeah.
my social media.
Right.
So, but when I was first trying to, because my Instagram wasn't always that way. I was kind of posting just to post because I thought that's what I needed to do. I'm like, you know what? I just need to post something and it doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't even really matter what I'm saying. I just need to be posting. And that's not the case. That's not the case. And if anybody feels that way right now, like, oh, I just need to post. That's all people want to see.
Mhm.
I would highly encourage you to take a step back and reevaluate that and really start to be like, right now, people's first impression of you is more than likely going to be your social media account.
Absolutely.
So that is going to be a lot of your clients. When they first see your name, they're probably going to go to your Instagram or your Facebook and
Absolutely.
see what you're posting, what you're doing. So I think reevaluate maybe having a theme of your platforms and sticking to it.
I think it's a great suggestion, and you don't have to read books. You don't have to follow anybody else that's an influencer. I know I do because I'm always wanting to hone my craft in that respect. But I didn't even think about your answer was on point because when you go to that discover screen or discover page, that is there because that's Instagram telling you that of your interests, these are the hottest posts right now. And so, Karrina made a great point on that one, guys. Like a great life hack is if you see something that someone is doing and it looks really good, go and replicate it, but make it your own.
Mhm.
If you see a great exterior shot or you see a funny post, let your personality come out. There's no reason why you can't ethically. You're just replicating what you're seeing because the discover page has told you that this is what people like and what they want to see. And so I think that's a great point. I often see, well, my wife's wants me to do a little TikTok video now. We're not on TikTok. We're going to do reels, but she saw something pretty funny
Same.
that she wants to do. And so we're going to go and do it ourselves. And I think that hopefully that it will come off pretty funny and our friends will be engaged by it. So, so what's something you wish you knew about social media when you were first starting out as an agent?
So I kind of just touched on it. I think I wish I would have realized what I was posting mattered.
Hmm.
And with that being said, as being a realtor, also being a younger realtor, people want to know that you know what you're talking about. So I wish I would have early on been doing more educational posts. So now I've been slacking, I'm not gonna lie, but I try to at least once a week do a post or a story that is educational because
Awesome.
I'm getting a lot of first time home buyers
Hmm.
and and even people that have bought homes before, it's kind of shocking the amount how little our clients know about real estate,
Yeah.
all the way down to like they don't really know the spuds and the Binzer process. They don't that all that stuff sounds so foreign to them. And if you could do once a week a post and it's just each week it's just okay, like this time I'm going to talk about the 10-day inspection period and what really happens, or this today I'm going to talk about what escrow means, so I think doing at least once a week showing your knowledge in real estate and not just a pretty house and not like, oh, another one sold or another one just listed, because
Thank you.
I think I think that gets like overwhelming to people and they're like, "Oh, great, you're doing well in real estate. Congratulations." But it's like,
Right.
"No, what are you offering your client?" And they're when they see some educational posts, they're going to be like, "Wow, this person really knows what they're talking about." And they seem like they're really helpful and engaging and I want to work with that person.
I absolutely agree with you. I know that's one of the things that we've been working with a lot of agents is the 4 E's, right? So entertain, empower, educate,
Mhm.
and what's the last one? Engage, right? So
Engage.
engage
Yeah.
your client. Education
Yeah.
is huge, and you're right. I talk to a lot of our agents a lot of times about that. That if you're going after millennials, they really they're new to the business. They don't know what they
Mhm.
don't know. This is their first time, and so
Yeah.
empower them to learn how to flush the hot water heater, get with a contractor and talk about these things about a new build house or a
Yeah.
a used house, or sorry, it's previously owned.
Mhm.
One's content that helps, it gets people coming back. They may not have a need now, or they may know someone down the road. They're going to remember you because your content has been memorable. And you're right, it's not just the just listed, just sold. Yeah, we get it. You're doing great in real estate. But what can you do to help me now? How can you educate me now so that I remember you the next time I have a need? And I think that's a great
Right.
idea. All
Yeah,
right, last one.
absolutely.
What type of posts do you see the most engagement? Like, and I think you just touched on it again. You're
Mhm.
starting to do educational, but before
Yeah.
that, what do you like? Funny stuff, personality stuff, house shots. You tell me.
Right. So being that my main side of my business, because I basically have two Instagrams. One of them is the flipping, designing, new build page. And then the other one is my personal page, but that's where I also post a lot of my realtor stuff. So I don't post a lot of my real estate. Like if I have clients, I don't post that on the business page because that's more just about the flips.
Right.
So both of them, but they're both real estate. So I use both of them to figure out what I get the most engagement on. For the business one, for the flipping, it's those before and after photos. And I
Hmm.
started doing it as as the real estate side too. And they go hand in hand.
Love it.
People love before and after
Love it.
photos. They
Yep.
love it. And if you're working with an investor that is doing flips, or if even if you just see an agent in the office, like that, just ask them, like, can I share your before and after photos of like your client's house, stuff like that. And the other thing is, I recently started within the last year doing giveaways. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I think I saw a huge influx of followers, comments, likes. My business page, I think I got 1,000 followers off my New Year's Eve giveaway. And I forced them to engage, right? So in the giveaway, like things I say, like you need to share this post on your
Right.
story, you need to tag 3 friends, And I think that's all I made them do. I didn't want to go too crazy, but I knew that tagging 3 friends and sharing on their story was the best way that I was going to gain new followers organically, naturally, that were real, because I still do hashtags, but there's so many bots out there. And what bots are these automated robots basically that people pay for to go through hashtags, like and follow the people using those hashtags to try to get them to follow them back. And then they unfollow those people.
Right.
And it's an old way of doing social media. And it's not a good way of getting a real following, because as a realtor, you want a real following. You don't want a fake following. You want
Right.
people that could potentially become a client. So the giveaway, when I did that, and then I retained those followers. So not
Nice.
only did I get an influx of followers, I thought maybe they were just doing it just for the giveaway, I retained a lot of them. So, and I saw my engagement go up because they were new followers that were really liking what I was posting. So I was having people going back like months into my feed, liking posts and asking questions. Like, I'm a designer, so obviously I get a lot of, where's this from and stuff. But it still goes to show, like with real estate, like you still, like the giveaways, people, I don't know, for me it was just like, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to be doing this at least twice a year, if not more often.
Right.
And that's where, in the beginning you talked about like teaming up with like titles and lenders, and sometimes you can split that giveaway with them, and then you have two people tag teaming this giveaway, or get a bunch of realtors and other like businesses involved in your giveaway, and you're all promoting each other, and you're all gaining like a natural organic following. So I saw giveaways, I was shocked. I never done one, and I was shocked by the results. So
Yeah.
I do suggest those.
That's a great way to engage your audience. I think it's a fantastic way to do it. And you're right. And you get a real follow.
Mhm.
I see, I get a new follower every now and then, and it's like they've posted one time and they have like 1,500 followers, and I'm like, okay, how
Right.
how that. Like I put content out regularly. Like how is you one piece of photo and that's it?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but the 9 times out of 10, it's usually some type of a bot or a troll or
Mhm.
somebody who's just gaming the system so they can get more
Right.
followers, in
Right.
some, hack shop in some third world country. So,
Yeah, I know. It's
yeah,
kind of a problem.
exactly. So I think your overall message is just genuineness,
Mhm.
authenticity,
Yep.
being unique. Obviously, seeing your social media and the content you put out there. I love the you have a standard look and feel for your filters. You're not all over the place. Um, is there a photo app that you like to go to for editing, or are you when you're doing your videos, are you doing anything off Instagram and then importing it in that you'd want to share with our audience?
Yeah, so I think my social media didn't really excel and go to the level that it's at until I hired a professional photographer. And now I
Nice.
have her on a retainer monthly. We meet monthly. We get content. It is a little easier for me since I have my own projects to get content on, but that
Mhm.
doesn't mean you can't still, like I said, reach out to an agent in your office and be like, if you see a listing that you're trying to like, that's the vibe you want to put out there, right? It's in the area you want, all of that. Ask them if you can go do like some photos in there. And sometimes they'll let you, sometimes they won't, and that's okay. But when you start posting your own content that looks professional,
Mhm.
and it's not a a lot of people will see a photo they really like of a house on Instagram and do like a repost. And that's fine. That's okay to do for filler. But I didn't notice my engagement and my following really start to grow until I started posting my own content. So I think the photographer really, it was, now it's like something that I'm like, wow, I feel like everybody should be doing this.
Mhm.
And also, I think, just like I said, those like the educational too is the educational posts. I think those are two really key things to do on social media.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, sorry if I rambled a little bit on the
No, no,
photographer
no,
thing.
that's fantastic. I obviously, just because you sell houses doesn't mean you know how to photograph houses.
Right.
A dentist knows how to be a dentist. They don't know how to use social media. They don't know what
Right.
posts are going to be aesthetic, or and pleasing and engaging. And so I think that you recognizing that, in order for me to take my business to that level, to my content creation to that level, I'm in need of a photographer who has an eye. They
Right.
specialize in that.
Right.
Then what you do with it is your own. Clearly,
Hmm.
through the use of your social media and the success that you've had, you're able to build relationships and engage people,
Right.
because immediately there's, again, first impressions are everything in this business,
Hmm.
and they see that and they immediately are drawn to it. And I think that's a fantastic suggestion. I know there's
Right.
a lot of event photographers right now who could probably use the work.
Hmm.
So there haven't been a lot of events lately, and it's not even just your content creation for your social media, but your headshot, lifestyle shots, branding and marketing pieces. People are drawn to professionalism,
Right.
and I think when you, as an agent, understand that and start to implement it into your creation, you're really going to see the results from it. And clearly, you have. And
Yeah.
so,
And I think the funny thing is my photographer is I've used her from the beginning, and how I found her is she's actually a wedding photographer. I just liked the look of her photos. So when I
nice.
was saying I was trying to find that vibe I wanted, I
Right.
liked the way she edited her
Mhm.
images. So going back to like the first question is I don't really edit the photos
Okay.
because she does that for me.
That's
So
awesome.
I found the photographer who had a similar vibe I was going for, and she just so happened to not even be a real estate photographer. So she's been amazing, and she has a great marketing mind, and she helps me a lot. And because photographers really, that's how they promote themselves. They're just like us. They have to be on social media. They have to be posting content. So she really helps me kind of stay on top of that and what I should be posting. But she's the one that's really pushing the reels, the video content. So now I have her not only doing photos, we do video content at the same time
Yeah.
of like the house, of me talking, all of that stuff. And I think the videos are the way of social media's future. I think we saw it with TikTok, Instagram's jumping on board with it.
Right.
And my when I do reels, I just started doing them. And like you said, like with the whole Pinterest thing, like I'll get like 10,000 plus views. And I'm like,
Hmm.
I don't even have 10,000 followers. I'm like,
Right.
how am I getting these many views? So really, I think as an agent now, I would say like you need to jump on that bandwagon. Like you need to jump on like the video train and
Yeah.
start doing it because it is going to be the way of the future. And it's the easiest way also, the reels, to get some more followers organically because Instagram quite hasn't done the algorithm that they do with like the posts and the stories. So they're still allowing reels to be like an organic thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, now, I don't know if
Right. Yeah.
you've
For
heard if
now.
they're doing anything, but, because it's like the algorithm's always changing, so we're constantly trying to figure out what we need to do to make our posts seen, and it seems like Reels, they haven't quite diluted that yet.
No, they haven't, and or marketers haven't ruined it yet. Like we always
Yeah,
do. So,
exactly.
but and that's a great point you brought up. You recognize the need to, when you're on Instagram, not just use the feed. You need to use everything. The algorithm is
Everything.
going to reward you when you're using the feed, you're using the stories, and
Mhm.
now Reels and
Yep.
IGTV for any of those who want to get into a little bit of a longer format. But when you find a good mix of the use of all those together, the algorithm is definitely going to reward you by getting your content out there more organically, and that's only going to grow your audience. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, hey, Karrina, I just want to say thank you. You have been fantastic. If you guys have any questions for Karrina, real quick, jump into the chat right there. But I don't want to get ahead of myself, but want to be respectful of her time. Um, really appreciate the time this morning. I know that we're really excited about the spotlight each and every month, and it's the last Thursday of every month. And so, if you guys have questions, jump in the chat real quick. Make sure you grab your phone, open up your Instagram app, and follow Karrina. She's got two handles there, and as she's mentioned, one for her design, one for real estate. Um, okay, one quick little question: what's a little known fact about you that no one knows?
Oh gosh, I love these questions. Um,
I didn't tell you I was going to do that one.
no, I know, like, oh, it's on the spot.
All right.
I used to show Arabian horses. So
Oh,
that was like a hobby when I was little, and I still have my Arabian horse. His name's Roger, and I don't show anymore, but not a lot of people know that. I don't really talk about it that much anymore. So
okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. I was curious just to
yeah,
know a little bit more about you. Those are always the little fun ones that throw people a curveball. So, all
Yeah.
right, guys, be sure to jump on there. Follow Karrina. I know she'll love to have you guys on there. Of course, I'm on social media, not quite to the level Karrina's at, but of course, if you guys are on Instagram, be sure to follow me. Snapchat, not yet Snapchat, whatever, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. I will follow you back. I'd love to see what you guys do content. I'd love to engage with you when we can, and obviously promote you guys the best we know how. If you guys have any questions after the fact, feel free to email me. I'm Keith, Keith, at westusa.com. We are taking next Thursday off for memorial services for Clay Fouts next week. But we'll be back at it in person again. I cannot believe you guys will be back in person again on, I believe it's the 13th, the second Thursday of next month. We will be back at the corporate office. We'll be doing Facebook Basics for you guys who are just getting going. Maybe you created a page and it's pretty dormant. You haven't done anything with it, but we'll get you going through Facebook Basics in person at the corporate office. Hit me up if you have any questions. Keep an eye on our calendar. Like all of our webinars, they are recorded and loaded up onto our YouTube channel. I'll be throwing this bad boy out later this afternoon for those of you who may not have been able to stay on. And as always, thank you guys so much for your time. Be kind to one another. Be safe out there, and we will see you soon. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks, Keith.
Bye-bye.
And bye.